So I just did something really dangerous that you should not do.
Looked at the sun.
I looked at the sun through this, and Burke was there, fortunately. It does look like that, by the way. And Burke was there, and he said, fortunately, he said, no, don't, because what happens is you're making it feel like it's not too bright, because it doesn't look too bright. It looks like you can look at it. And he said, but it is, and you're really hurting yourself. Yeah. So, but I did see it, and it looks just like that.
Only after 5 or 10 years it'll build up, you know.
When I was a kid, I would, you look at it like that, but you're not supposed to do that. So I was bad. I was a bad person. So what's the genesis? You guys come from Novell.
Yeah,
okay, that's where we met. That's where we met.
You were both at Novell. What were you doing there?
I remember the mic is
so
yeah, you got to kind of share it.
So it's actually,
we'll get you another mic. We got one coming.
I'd have to actually ask you, well, which time at Novell?
Oh, you were there several times.
I was there 4 times.
What?
Revolving door guy.
They keep pulling me in.
Yeah.
Are you an engineer?
I actually worked there as a product manager, system architect, and evangelist, and all sorts of stuff.
Interesting.
So, doing a lot of different roles.
Interesting.
Last role, I was there in the pipeline under Mike Sheridan and Eric Schmidt. So we were doing research and development and digital identity.
You and Eric used to argue all the time.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, there's a magic wire coming up through there. Thank you, Chad. Chad, bravo. You know, best twit ever.
Yay.
Chad Johnson just put together.
I just said, does he have 8 arms? Is he 4
He's
guys?
amazing, isn't he?
He's good.
You see what you were sitting behind him.
Yeah, we were sitting right next to him. We kept looking underneath the monitor watching, and he's just...
Well, you know, everybody who sits at that desk does that, and it's very challenging. And in fact, the only reason I thought it was even doable is because I kind of sort of used to do that myself. I still do my own shows, and so I thought, well, I think it's possible, but it really is kind of amazing.
Well, he's like reading your mind. That's what I thought.
Well, that's the other thing.
I think
Chad and I are on a wavelength, and I think that's a good thing. I think that bodes well for the long-term future of the shows, because he's going to be producing our big 3 shows: Windows Week or Mac Break Weekly, This Week in Google, and
awesome.
Yeah, and he's got red hair. He's Wendy's.
It's a brand.
That's right.
It is his brand. It's your brand, Chad.
Totally.
Red hair, Chad. So. These are clearly prototype, yeah? Or is this in production?
Those are actually working, and
wow, I can
your earlier question. So I am an engineer. I love hardware, I love software. Kind of as I got into the Novell days, worked all the way up into the cloud and all that, and decided to go back to hardware. And it's just astounding what's out there in hardware now. So.
What is the market for something like this? Are you talking about the Walmarts of the world who would use this to keep an eye on goods, or
that's actually a good example. So anybody in retail that wants to watch, refrigeration or temperatures of things, or door entries. So we've got, sensor temperature, humidity, water sensors, water levels, greenhouse applications.
We're just talking to people about property management. All these homes that are like rented and vacant at certain times. This tells you what's going on.
Tell me about the hardware that's in here. It's a little computer, or is it an Arduino kind of chip? Or
no, smaller, because it's low power.
Very low power.
Very low power. 2032 coin cell battery runs for 2 years plus.
Well, that's what you want. That's
reporting
good.
Those things.
Okay.
And then we're going to real low power because we want to just place them out there. They're all built basically on a single board. They're all built on a single board.
Same design.
Same design. And so we just put in different sensors.
You have one I can open up?
Temperature or something like that?
Actually, I do. I actually have one. Hold on.
It's already open?
I'm going to run.
Yeah. There you go.
Now tell me about the communication. So obviously it's got a little antenna on it.
So it's 900. Actually, we make them in 3 different frequencies because we're shipping them all over the world. So they got to be 900 frequency, 900 megahertz in North and South America. They got to be 868 for Europe, and they got to be 433 for China.
Is that a regulated frequency in the U.S.?
That's where they want these
little devices.
It's the ISM band.
So we used to have cordless phones. That
and we gave those up because we went to 2.4.
Right, which is great. Now
that left that open
because that was really crowded for a while, right?
And realize these are real low reporting. These are not constantly.
So it's just a little bit of data every once in a while.
Send my report. Wake up.
So here's one that's.
This is actually a prototype of the. It's a working prototype of our USB gateway. So that's got the radio on it, and then the USB interface card underneath. Yeah. And we're on to our next revision of the board, and then that one actually is where. What we do is attach that USB to a Windows, Linux, or Mac machine, and then that runs our Loom software, so that the actual service
Wovyn,
gateway.
So we had to call it the Loom.
I love the name. That's clever.
It's worth it to see a smile.
It's what weaves it together. But really then that software is actually what allows you to then map the sensor data to various web services or service platforms out in the internet.
Right. And it's interesting that you're actually. Are you going to make these ASICs at some point, or is this a wire wrap, or is this is actually what they're going to be like?
So that's what they are for now. So that is a single system on a chip solution,
right?
And that's pretty much what we're going with.
Is
for
it
the
a real-time OS? What's in here?
No, it's just a fixed primary, just a fixed binary, application.
It's very dumb.
That's running.
It's very
it's pretty simple. It wakes up. There's a couple of things it's got. It's got a heartbeat interval, so it can wake up and just basically check in to say it's alive. It has a sample interval where it can take a reading and actually check against thresholds if it needs to. But pretty simple, pretty basic, and that's really to just keep driving the cost down.
Huh. Very interesting. So tell me about some of the things that temperature's one.
Temperature, humidity, light, lux. It's actually a funny joke. I told you, I think before the show, Leo, that Scott and I have known each other for over 10 years. We've spun this whole thing up, though, never being in the same room.
You're a virtual company.
We were a virtual company for 4 months, and we just saw each other this weekend for Maker Faire.
But this is a Maker Faire thing.
But I check every night to see if Scott's up because I check the lux level in his house. And so if there's only like 2 lux in his house, I go, he's going to sleep. Man.
Wow, that's cool. Now, is there a standard for how these communicate at all?
So for these ones, no, because again, we wanted to keep packet size down. There's a lot of work that the engineers worked on in order to keep everything very low power, low bandwidth. And so it's a proprietary protocol that we use from the sensors to the gateway.
Huh. Is there a standard out there?
So
it'd be nice to have kind of these chips to be kind of independent, and you could mix and match. And
there is no 802.11 BG.
It's a shame, and the same thing happened in home automation where there were 800 standards, right? And everybody did their own thing. And for a while, I thought there were a couple that were going to make it, and then
actually, it leads to why we want to do multiple platforms. I mean, that's the
and if you were really to look at what we're doing, our focus really isn't as much on the sensors as much as on the Loom software. So one of the things we've done, and again, if you go back to the Novell days, one of the things Novell had done back in the day was they supported all the LAN technologies.
Right.
They supported Ethernet, ArcNet, Token Ring, everything that you could ever imagine that was there. And we're doing the exact same thing with our software. So we have this sensor technology as one that we do want to embrace and push and get, low cost and get it out there. But the software is designed where we can incorporate any new and innovative or standard-based or non-standard sensor technology or control technology.
We had 3 or 4 meetings at the Maker Faire with other sensor guys. Going time into the cloud. There's going to be. We said this with Robert. There's going to be billions of these things all over.
Well, that's that Internet of Things thing, and that's kind of interesting. The notion that everything is kind of somewhat sentient and can report something useful back to a web, and that we can take those streams of information and make some sense out of it.
Yeah, how many sensors does our phones?
Right.
Oh yeah, the phones.
That one's following him all day, 24/7.
Temperature, Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, audio, video.
I was thinking this just the other day. My car tires know when they're flat.
Yeah.
And every car now does that.
You got those senders that
there
are
must have been some
the...
cheap thing that somebody invented that can sense the pressure.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is.
And you got to replace them. I just replaced them on my wife's car.
You do have to replace them.
You do have to replace them. They're very cheap, though.
They're not in the tire? They're
in the wheel.
A little wheel and sensor are in the wheel. Right.
And how does it know what the tire's pressure is? Oh, it's coming up through the...
Yeah, it's right where the valve stem is.
How does it talk?
It is wireless.
Is it wireless? I figured it was.
It's wireless.
But
because it's spinning.
I had to get one replaced, and when I did, they actually did a reset on my car, and to get it to rediscover that one. And then it came back on.
And it's not using Bluetooth, it's using some
proprietary protocol.
RF. These are RF, all of them?
Yeah.
But I want to. That's nice to have the chat room here too. Somebody just threw out these just sensor they control also, and it's a very good question because it's both ways. We are going to eventually not only be hearing what things say, but send back controls. Right. So it's going to be about sensing and about control. It's bidirectional.
Right. The next thing is
It's everything.
I should have a little oxygen bottle on my car, and I could say, fill that one up.
What are some of the other sensors that you guys have? 27 different sensors.
Yeah, we have pressure. We have any kind of flow. We can measure flow. We can measure liquid levels. Matter of fact, that was one you wanted. Robert, because you're worried about basement flooding or something like that.
Oh, yeah,
vehicle sensors.
Vehicle sensors.
So
right.
presence
of a vehicle.
Yep.
Presence overall. And it's really, right now, it's not as much about the sensors. It's about getting them out there. We're really excited about getting them out there to see what everybody does with them.
Right.
Yeah. That's where the creativity is. You know that.
Right.
I mean, you almost,
let the world figure it out.
Absolutely.
Because they're smarter. And
well, what's your analogy with Carnegie?
It's being in the steel industry rather than making things out of steel.
Right. We want to make steel and what people want to build.
Right.
And that's one of the things. If you're a software developer out there today and you're writing all these web apps and you're building all this stuff in the cloud, and all of a sudden you decide you do want to tie some sort of environmental sensors into your software, you have to go through basically what I did, which is you have to go and learn all these low-level binary protocols and a lot of other stuff. And what we said is, well, wait a minute, no, why would I want to do that? Why not make it that someone can just say, no, turn this temperature sensing into a REST call, into a webhook, and have it post to my software,
MQTT.
and that's what we've done.
So is Loom, is that what Loom is? There's an API to Loom, and it uses a RESTful interface?
So we actually support about 9 different protocols now. We've got 12 more, and then at Maker Faire, we've been approached by a couple of the other players out there in the Internet of Things to support their clouds also.
So that's cool. So it really is more, I see now why you say it's about the Loom stuff.
Yes.
You hope others will build.
Absolutely.
Well, there's going to be billions of those. We don't have to make them all. I mean, they're going to be embedded in things. They're going to.
But what you're providing is the middleware interface between these little devices.
Not the best analogy, but we want to be the Cisco of sensors and control. We want to be routing all that stuff, right?
That seems like I'd invest in that. Who are your backers?
Well, we got a great Kickstarter project going up right now. Go out and support us.
Are you going to do a Kickstarter?
We're
up
on there now.
Right now. Wovyn, W-O-V-Y-N.
Oh, I love that.
Just a little love.
So what do you think? Do you think? I think that I love Kickstarter in the sense that people like you can really do something.
Well, it's been an amazing experience. It is really a strong community. I'll tell you all the Kickstarters out there, you guys.
Yeah. So, really? So there's a community of people doing this.
There's
so you're in touch with other Kickstarters. Yeah.
They are very vocal. Like your chat. Like your IRC chat room here. They talk back to you. They go, "Are you doing this?" Matter of fact, we're about ready. Pre-announcing here, we're about ready to launch. One of the limits of Kickstarter is you have to build these pledge levels, so you can only do a fixed amount of.
They have to be gifts: $30, $99, $129.
Well, what we're doing is we are building dynamic pledge levels because everybody goes, I want more sensors.
We have.
They go, I want more. We had a guy go, I want 25 sensors.
Oh, interesting.
We're going to help you out.
So if I pledge $30, I get a T-shirt. But if I pledge $99,
tell you what, Leo, I'll give you a T-shirt for free.
I get a USB gateway
and a
sensor.
We've got those.
Exactly.
And this is interesting. So that was a smart way to do it. Now, we can send people there. If you go to Kickstarter and search for WOVYN,
that's it.
You can participate. You've got 11,000 towards your 100,000. So is that $100,000 is enough for you to do what? Manufacture, work on your software? What is it?
Yeah, it's about volume, right? When you do contract manufacturing, when you do CM, you can't
have
just
to be
do
building
one.
Enough of them.
We don't have
build
the Maker Faire right now is all about this eventually, but right now you got to really tool up and you got to build a big inventory. So yeah, we'd love to knock these off one Tuesday. But
so instead of going, this is interesting. So you made the conscious decision instead of going to friends and family or to angels or even to VCs.
We're not saying that we're not.
You're not ruling it out.
Yeah, we're not ruling those out. That's right.
Part of the thing with Kickstarter was, we really wanted to do. I mean, when I even look at Kickstarter, there is a huge amount of it that is about community and brand and the social aspect of it. And so, we wanted to push it out there just to start to go after those developers, to go after people in the Kickstarter community, to see what kind of feedback we could get. And we've learned a lot over the last couple of weeks just on what people want, what they like, what they have questions about, help us fine tune the pitch.
I mean, you know how this works. That's your world, right? Your world. I was amazing when you're watching the show that you said they're like almost your mind because they remember things from previous shows.
Oh my God.
Those guys are unbelievable.
They're very, very
unbelievable.
If I get one benefit from Twitter, it's just the chat room.
That is neat.
They tell me everything. I don't need to.
But I thought it's like you go, no, I can't remember that. Oh, I remember.
No, they're fantastic.
Great guys out there.
Yeah,
awesome.
No, love them.
Awesome in the community. So,
what do you think, Robert? Do you think there's going to be a backlash against Kickstarter? We talked a little bit about it on Twitter, but I just worry because it is a great thing.
Well, I think as long as people get something out of it, they'll keep supporting it. But
you feel good about participating. There's no doubt about that. And I'm excited by Pebble, but I could just imagine. Now, that's a lot of people. Pebble has to produce.
Yeah.
I think Diaspora felt a lot of pressure because of this Kickstarter thing. In fact, one of their founders committed suicide. Yeah. And I have to think some of it had to do with the pressure. They were just college kids.
Yeah.
And they raised a lot of money very publicly to create a Facebook killer distributed Facebook, and I think that's got to be a lot of pressure.
Yeah, the other thing is it's just like every other industry. There's a long cliff, and the Pebbles make $10 million, $11 million.
Right. There's a lot of projects.
You guys only have what? How much?
62 backers and 11,000.
62 backers. Just starting it up though.
Well, but you got to publicize it, and that's the real thing. Is how do you get attention? And I think doing things like this, talking to Robert Scoble, those are what you need to now do, right? So that doesn't change. Marketing is marketing.
Marketing's marketing, right?
Yeah.
How do you build a community?
Although they do give you, because you have Facebook likes and tweets and embeds and stuff, they do give you a way that people can share what's going on.
Well, you know what's interesting? Give you insight. Like a third of our backers are coming from the community itself.
From the Kickstarter.
Yeah, they really are. They really are. You get promoted up into the project level, and that's really where that community is really strong.
I'm just bitter because we were turned down by Kickstarter. Actually, we tried to raise. We asked them if we could raise money for the studio, to build the studio, and they said no. No. So that's fine. I mean, that's not. We actually ended up doing a brick drive, as you see when you come in here.
Oh yeah.
Awesome place though. I don't think you needed Kickstarter, Leo.
Well, it would have been nice.
Probably.
I don't know what I would have given people though. So you're right. We probably wouldn't know.
Sign a brick.
Probably wouldn't know.
Sign a brick. You got the whole
their name on a brick.
There, the Hall of Fame. Yeah.
Well, that's what ended up happening. People actually spent a lot of money. Those bricks started $128. So
Nice.
we raised $250,000 doing that, but we spent $1.25 million doing this. So it's still in the hole.
It's the model. I mean, right now there's a crowdsource.org site out there. There's over 450 different efforts like this of crowdsourcing. Kickstarter, especially with Pebble and everything, got the huge media blitz now. But it's a new model. It really
now
is.
You know about Twine, because there's a Twine project in Kickstarter. They've raised $500,000. In fact, considerably more right now than their goal.
Yeah, they did.
They're funded.
They had a great run.
Same idea. How does this compare?
So it's kind of interesting. There are several people that are now in this same space. So Twine is one. There's another one that just came out the other day called Electric Imp. And we just talked to them also. And so on a similarity standpoint, okay, people are saying you've got sensors, you're kind of reporting into the cloud. That's where architecturally and our focus on the software and the IP that we have sort of starts to split and move away. We aren't as focused long-term on the devices themselves. They're doing Wi-Fi, they're doing up
this
to the
Twine
cloud.
is really a little computer with onboard sensors. It's a kind of a different...
It's got some different sensors
You're pushing the intelligence inward, they're pushing it out.
Yep.
And ours is about ubiquity. There's, you got one, but since you put everything in it, it's a lot more expensive to put them all.
Although I like this Twine because it says you could actually, if you're worried about your basement, you could have it tweet you. I'm wet.
That's it. That's it. Yeah, Twitter, Facebook, we're linked into all that. SMS text.
Yeah, we do that also.
Oh
yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah. And that's
through Wovyn.
Yes.
That's through the Loom, right?
Now, some of the differences there are that we're going from our gateways directly out to those services rather than funneling everything through the cloud. And that's really on a scalability issue. When we start to look at how the Internet of Things is going to scale, how are people going to have thousands, hundreds of thousands, millions of sensors, and do people actually think that they're going to be able to funnel that all up through some single cloud service and then out to these endpoints? Yeah. We're saying no. We distribute that intelligence to the gateways out at your house, at a business, at a location, and those posts are occurring directly from that gateway.
Well, the Cisco analogy is always good. You said
it's sort of like people pushing it as Cisco and saying, well, we're going to have routers and but we're going to route everything in the internet through Cisco's headquarters.
Yeah, of course.
And charge you a little bit.
We'll put the internet
through.
I think that's what Mark Zuckerberg's business model actually is, pump the internet through Facebook. Yeah. Well, it's nice to meet you guys. I wish you the best. Wovyn, is it wovyn.com?
Yes,
it is.
And the Kickstarter project you probably get to through wovyn.com.
We got a link there, and also you can go directly. It's been a pleasure.
Good luck on the project. You got 34 days to go.
Yep.
The clock is ticking.
That's it. We appreciate it. And Robert, thanks for the link in.
Thanks.
It's awesome.
Thanks for coming last night.
Yeah.
They came over to my house.
They set you up? You got basement sensor now?
No.
No, not yet.
We need to get them on, though.
Not yet.
That's right.
Once we get into production.
Thank you.
Really appreciate it.
Right.